Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another book review video. As always, I have my notes right here in front of me. So sometimes if you see me glancing down or reading, that's why, because I like to make sure I get all my thoughts out there. And I want to make sure I tell you exactly what I was feeling at the time I was reading the book, because I do take notes or highlight things in my books as I am reading. That way I can always go back and tell you guys about those particular things and my thoughts during these book review videos. I read 4 books in the month of June, which is my goal for each month. I do like to read more because I need to catch up. I'm a little behind on my yearly goal right now, but I read as much as I can. But with a full-time job and posting 5 to 6 videos a week, I find myself only having a couple of hours per day to read, if even that. As always, I'm going to give you the Goodreads rating at the time of filming this video and then my personal rating. There will be no spoilers in this review video. I read pretty much exclusively ebooks, so when I say I'm highlighting them, that's what I do throughout the ebook. They're definitely my preference of read. It's just easy. I can take them wherever I go. It's just, for me, I like it, and I do a lot of reading in bed, and I don't have to worry about having a night light or anything like that on. I find my books at my local library or through Amazon Prime Reading, which is a free Amazon service, Amazon Prime service, or through Kindle Unlimited, which is a pay service through Amazon. You pay $9.99 per month, but there's sometimes, like last month's review video, I believe was 100% Kindle Unlimited books. Lots of good books you can find under Kindle Unlimited. And maybe this month I should have done the same thing, because this was not, like, it was a good reading month where I read my 4 books, but I didn't choose the best books this month, as you'll find out. I also find a really good sales through Amazon, Kindle, and through Apple Books. So I normally try not to pay over $3.99 for a book unless it's one of those automatic buy authors that I know I'm just going to love the book. If I found a book through Prime Reading or through Kindle Unlimited, I'll let you know. I don't believe any of them are in this book, though. In this review video, I believe all these books were ones that I purchased. There will also be links to all these services that I mentioned, as well as links to each of the books' Goodreads page and Amazon page where you can go read the reviews or purchase the books. If you want to be friends on Goodreads, I always have my link down below. I don't go on there every single day, so if you do put a friend request in, I'm not ignoring it. It's just I usually get back to it. Usually when I've finished a book, that's when I go into Goodreads, or when I'm trying to find a new book to read, that's when I go into Goodreads. So don't fear. I will definitely go back in and add you as a friend. But you can follow me up until that point, until I can actually go in there and approve the friend request. I don't get notifications on my phone from Goodreads. I try to have as few notifications as possible on my phone. These reviews are always in order of how I read them, not on how they are rated. Book number 1 was The Perfect Mother by Amy Molloy. The Goodreads rating at the time of my reading this was 3.55. My rating, 3.5, 3.75. As you can tell, I had a lot of trouble rating this book. This is the first book by this author that I've read. I think this may have also been her very first book that she has written. I found one other book when I was doing the research on this book review video. I did see another book by this author, but it was newer than this one. But like I said, as you can tell by my rating, this book was really hard for me to rate. First, let me read the synopsis to you, and then we'll talk about the book itself. They call themselves the May Mothers, a collection of new moms who gave birth in the same month. Twice a week with strollers in tow, they get together in Prospect Park, seeking refuge from the isolation of new motherhood, sharing the fears, joys, and anxieties of their new child-centered lives. When the group's members agree to meet for drinks at a local hip bar, they have in mind a casual evening of fun, a brief break from their daily routine. But on the sultry 4th of July night, during the hottest summer in Brooklyn's history, something goes terrifyingly wrong. One of the babies is abducted from his crib. Winnie, a single mom who was reluctant to leave 6-week-old Midas with a babysitter, but the May mothers insisted that everything would be fine. Now Midas is missing. The police are asking disturbing questions, and Winnie's very private life has become a fodder for a ravenous media. Though none of the other mothers in the group are close to the reserved Winnie, 3 of them will go to increasingly risky lengths to help her find her son. As the police bungle the investigation and the media begin to scrutinize the mothers in the days that follow, damaging secrets are exposed, marriages are tested, and friendships are formed and fractured. This was mostly an enjoyable book. It read super quickly, and I was definitely invested in the outcome of the book. The first half of the book, I really enjoyed the writing and the characters. There's a lot of characters and a lot of events going on, which made it really hard to follow. But I feel like in really good suspense novels, you also need to remember the events that are happening, since normally this has something to do with the conclusion. So I was really trying hard to follow all these events, and it was really starting to get a little frustrating and confusing to me. And I just kept thinking to myself, if I go and I remember all the stuff that's going on, it has nothing to do with the conclusion, I'm going to be super upset. Unfortunately, the last half of the book, I really felt the writing changed. It seemed rushed, seemed like the author was just super like wanting to end it. It just didn't seem as organized as the first half. So I felt like, she did really good in the first half to like build this story. Then all of a sudden it just seemed like, okay, I'm done. I've told my part of the story I want to tell, and now let's just get it over with. It was just hard for me to follow. I actually had to reread a few pages to catch back up. I don't know, I just felt very unorganized in my thoughts when I was reading it. But like I said, I was so invested that I just had to know what happened to that baby. When we finally get to the conclusion, I was a little bit underwhelmed. The payoff just was not as great for as big of a buildup that we were given. I did hear this book was being made into a movie. That being said, I think this would make a really good movie. I think the plot is really good. I think that these mothers would make really great characters in a movie. They were all different characters. We had the crazy outrageous, the super, busy mom, working mom. We had the kind of scared and skittish mom. We had the frenzied, crazy friend. I mean, you had all these great characters, and I think they translate very well on film. It still shows us in development. I thought I had read, when I was doing some research for this, I thought that I found a couple of references like that it was going to maybe be a Lifetime movie, which would make sense. It would make a good Lifetime movie, but I could not find anything on when it was coming out. So I don't know if it's still coming out or if it's just still in development. Have no idea. So if any of you guys know, let me know down in the comment section. I just feel like this would make a really good movie rather than the book. I think I would enjoy it a lot more, and I will definitely watch it if I see that this came out. Number 2 was The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. The Goodreads rating, 3.97. My rating, 3 to 3.5 stars. I picked up this book during the Apple Books Memorial Day sale. I picked up a lot of books that day because they had a ton of books that were on my TBR list, which is my to be read list, for like $3.99 and below. So I did pick up quite a few books during that sale, and I think it was like $2.99. This is my second Lisa Jewell book. I enjoyed the first one much better. In both this book and the other one, though, I feel like this author, she definitely is one of those slow burns. So it's like it just takes a long time to get to the action. I do prefer thriller and suspense novels that are much quicker reads and just get to the action quicker. So let's go in. But the synopsis of her books are what always grabs my attention. So let me read that to you, and then we'll go into my thoughts. Soon after her 25th birthday, Libby Jones returns from work to find the letter she'd been waiting for her entire life. She rips it open with one driving thought: I am finally going to know who I am. She learns not only the identity of her birth parents, but also that she is the sole inheritor of their abandoned mansion on the banks of the Thames in London's fashionable Chelsea neighborhood, worth millions. Everything in Libby's life is about to change, but what she can't possibly know is that others have been waiting for this day as well, and she is on a collision course to meet them. 25 years ago, police were called to 16 Shine Walk with reports of a baby crying. When they arrived, they found a healthy 10-month-old happily cooing in her crib in the bedroom. Downstairs in the kitchen lay 3 dead bodies, all dressed in black, next to a hastily scrawled note, and 4 other children reported to live at Shine Walk were gone. The can't look away story of 3 entangled families living in a house with the darkest of secrets. I said earlier, this book was a slow burn in the beginning, and I was so confused through much of the book, but it eventually started to make sense. The book is told from 3 different points of view, so we have Libby, Henry, and Lucy, and to add to that is told in 2 different timelines. So that's always really hard to kind of try to connect your thoughts when you have these 3 people, 2 different timelines. and it's going back and forth, and to try to keep them from getting mixed up. I kept getting Lucy and Libby's stories mixed up in my mind. I don't know why. I could not keep them straight sometimes. I feel like a good thriller definitely should keep you guessing, but shouldn't be confused on top of that. So it definitely kept you guessing, but my mind was just so confused. It just takes too long to know what's going on. This book also is more dark and disturbing than it is suspenseful and thrilling. So there are some trigger warnings here that I should tell you about. We have rape, incest, and animal cruelty. So it's, like I said, it's just more dark, and I'm not like a fan of dark novels like that. So really, to sum up my thoughts, this book is multi-layered, it's hard to keep straight, and really hard to believe. The last few chapters are really where things get set straight and we truly know what's going on in this entire book. And it definitely left it open-ended, where I think there's a second book coming out. That's kind of the way they left it, and I have not looked to see if there is one. So let me know if you are a Lisa Jewell fan and you're following the books that are coming out, if there is a second book coming out for this. The way it was left, I definitely think there is one. And in that case, because where I think it's going, it may not be that bad of a book, because I don't see it having to have the same plot and confusing plot lines, because we already have it. We already know what's going on. So if it goes into a second book, I think it may be a little bit better. I don't know. We'll see. I have at least 3 other books by Lisa Jewell on my TBR list. And after reading the reviews on this particular book, I think I may give this author another chance. I feel like a lot of her really big super fans did not enjoy this book also. And then a lot of people said, don't let this deter you from reading any of her other books. And like I said, the other book I read by her, I believe I gave it 4 stars, and I really enjoyed it. It just was also a really slow burn. But this seems to definitely be the least favorite of Lisa Jewell fans. Number 3, One of Us is Dead. The Goodreads rating on this was 3.93. My rating, 3 stars. This book is only 99 cents on Amazon, so I picked it up. I was familiar with the author only because she showed up on my For You page on TikTok. I don't use the TikTok app often, but she kept popping up on there, and so I started to kind of listen to some of her other ones, because I do follow a lot of authors or people that read books on TikTok to kind of find any book ideas to read. But that is the only reason I can think of that this has so many high ratings on Goodreads. As always, let's start with the synopsis. Meet the women of Buckhead, a place of expensive cars, huge houses, and competitive friendships. Shannon was once the queen bee of Buckhead, but she's been unceremoniously dumped by Bryce, her politician husband. When Bryce replaces her with a much younger woman, Shannon sets out to take revenge. Crystal has stepped into Shannon's old shoes, a young, innocent Texan girl. She simply has no idea what she's up against. Olivia has waited years to take Shannon's crown as the unofficial queen of Buckhead. Finally, her moment has come. But to take her rightful place, she will need to use backstabbing, manipulative, underhanded trick in the book. Jenny owns Glow, the most exclusive salon in town. Jenny knows all of her clients' secrets and darkest desires, but will she ever tell? Who amongst these women will be clever enough to survive Buckhead, and who will wind up dead? They say that friendships can be complex, but no one said it could ever be this deadly. First thing I want to say is that I wish I had listened to the audiobook version of this. From what I read in the reviews after finishing this book, there's a ton of praise for the audio version. And people even saying that their high rating is for the audio version only, and that they couldn't get through the actual book itself, and that the audio version saved it for them. And I think I know why. For me, this should be a TV show, not a movie. I think this would actually be an entertaining TV series. This book reminded me of the TV show Desperate Housewives, but Desperate Housewives definitely wasn't about like a bunch of rich people, but just the actual, housewives themselves, which funny enough, I just got done binge watching a few months back. It's always been a favorite of mine. But I think this is probably even more similar to the Real Housewives series. I've never watched a single episode of that series, but I've seen enough clips and heard enough about it to know what it's about. Most of the women in the story are married to wealthy men. They're all various degrees of spoiled, and they're just backstabbing mean girls. They spend their time at the beauty salon, which, is that normal? I have no idea. Again, I've never watched the Real Housewives series. Tell me, like, do rich women just hang out at the beauty salon? No idea. They go to lunch, they go shopping, and they organize fundraisers. And of course, they're plotting against women that they deem not qualified to be part of their exclusive group. The book did hook me from the very beginning, and I really enjoyed this story, but my enthusiasm went away pretty quickly, and there was times when I just thought about not finishing it. I felt like the writing was okay, but again, it was not, I don't know how to say it. Like I said, I think it was more just written like a script, like a TV show, not really like a novel. I don't know how else to explain that. But so every time though, I would tell myself, I can't finish this. I can't do it. Then something would happen. And then it would pique my interest again until finally I was just so invested enough in the story to know what was going to happen. Now, I really loved the Ginny character, the owner of the salon. I love that she knew all the secrets of these rich women, and it just really made for entertaining dialogue and just wondering how she was going to use that to her advantage. And also her assistant, I believe her name was Keisha. She was kind of the same way. I really liked those two characters quite a bit, and I loved their relationship. The best part of this book was when all the secrets started to unravel. The reveal of the secrets was a much bigger payoff also than even the reveal of the murder mystery part of the book. It was almost like we forgot that the title of this book was One of Us is Dead, because really it was so centered on these housewives and their secrets and their stories and them like plotting against these people, and that all of that, rather than, it almost was like the whole murder part of this was more of an afterthought. And when it finally happened, it was just kind of like, oh yeah, that's right, we were supposed to have somebody who was going to be killed. So, in the beginning I kept thinking, okay, who's going to be killed, and then I was just so like invested in these secrets that I completely forgot that somebody was going to be murdered. It was kind of odd. I have another book by this author that I picked up a while back, but I haven't read it yet. It's called The Perfect Marriage, and I believe a few of you have told me that you've read it and you really enjoyed it. So I think I will read that sometime in the month of July, and I'll let you know my feelings on that book. The final book I read in the month of June was called My Darling Husband by Kimberly Bell. The Goodreads rating 3.68. My rating 5 stars. Yes, me and Goodreads lately have not been getting along as far as the ratings. So the Goodreads raters, or I guess the people who are a part of Goodreads, I don't know. We've just been having a lot of conflicting stars lately. This is my 4th book by this author. I absolutely love this author and is an automatic buy or rent for me, whatever I can find it. I did pick this book up on Apple Books though, using some credits that I had. And all of the previously books that I've read by Kimberly Bell have been 4 or 5 stars for me. 4 or 5 star reads for me. Okay, let's go in the synopsis and then we'll talk more about this book. Jade and Cam Lasky are all by accounts a happily married couple with 2 adorable kids, a spacious home, and a rapidly growing restaurant business. But their world is tipped upside down when Jade is confronted by a masked home invader. As Cam scrambles to gather the ransom money, Jade starts to wonder if they're as financially secure as their lifestyle suggests, and what other secrets her husband is keeping from her. Cam may be a good father, a celebrity chef, and a darling husband, but there's another side he's kept hidden from Jade that has put their family in danger. Unbeknownst to Cam and Jade, the home invader has been watching them and is about to turn their family secrets into a public scandal. Okay, funny enough, like it was a total coincidence that this story is also set in Buckhead. So what are the chances of me picking up more than one book that are set in the same area? I never heard of Buckhead in my life, and I'm pretty sure that I think Buckhead was in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm not sure, but it was just kind of funny because they started talking about Buckhead in this book, and these, that this family, this husband and wife and children live in this exclusive neighborhood of Buckhead. I don't know, super weird. But it actually kind of made me think, am I reading a different book? What's going on? It took me by surprise. One thing about Kimberly Bell that is she writes domestic suspense novels. They're not thrillers. They're not usually, there's not always going to be a murder, but there was in Stranger by the Lake, I think that was the name of it, which is a really good book as well. I think I did a book review video on that book. So they're mostly just domestic issues, but they are really super suspenseful and really thrilling, but it's not the thriller murder mystery type books that I normally read. This story has a unique plot, and as always, the writing is so addictive. I love her writing. I could read it all the time. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. It was exciting, definitely a page turner. This book is also told from multiple point of views, one of which is the home invader, which I love it when we get a point of view from the bad guy. I don't know, it always has such a unique kind of aspect to the books. I mean, I've read several where it's been doing that, and I just love it. I love to hear their point of view. I can't remember though if I've ever read a home invasion book. I've seen movies, of course, but I don't know if I've ever read a book. So this was super intriguing for me. As a reader too, you can't help but wonder, like, what would you do in this horrible situation? Like, they never call the police, you know, in any home invasion movie or any ransom kidnapping book. Like, I have read like kidnapping books. They never go to the police. Why? Is there a reason for that? I don't know. But I'm always like wondering, how would I react to something like that? I have no idea. But this is definitely a twisty read with secrets popping up around every single corner. Like, every chapter pretty much seemed like it introduced a new secret or something like in it. And they were nice short chapters. This author too always creates the best characters. This book definitely was no different. The characters are believable. She makes them very human-like. And all these ones were very likable. Once we even know the story and hardship of the home invader, it's really hard not to have sympathy for him. Definitely though, for me, the stand-up character for this book was the daughter Beatrix. You're definitely going to love her. She's a violin prodigy. I believe she's like 9 or 10. The little boy is 6. He's adorable. Maybe she was like 8. She might have been 8 or 9. She's not very old, but she's definitely a standout in this book. And I love, love, love her character. My absolute favorite book by this author, just so you know, is Dear Wife. I believe I read it before I started doing book reviews. I could not find I did a book review on that one. But definitely check out any book by this author. You're not going to be disappointed. I don't see them come up often on Kindle Unlimited or Prime Reading, so you may just have to look around and see if you can get it at your library or get it like on a discounted price or something, but highly recommend that. Speaking of discounted price books, I have mentioned this like when I first started doing book review videos. There is a website, and let me look up the name of it because I always forget and I don't want to give you the wrong name. Like I said, I mentioned this a while back, but I haven't talked about it in a while, and I'm not affiliated with them or anything, but I discovered this like, oh gosh, so long ago. It's called eReader IQ. Now, there's a few things you can do with this website. For one, you can just go look for books, and there's like, you can look for them by price. So if you're looking for books that are like a penny, which a long time ago, I haven't seen Amazon do it in a long time, but a long time ago, they used to have a lot of penny books. I've been reading so long that I can't remember when. And this is a free service. It does have they have, where you can like donate money to them or whatever. But what you also can do, the part of it how I use it is I add my watch list to it. So I add my Amazon like Kindle list to this, and what it does is that when it goes to a certain so there will be like the current price on there, and then the lowest price, and then I have a notify price. And for me, I have the notify price. I think it's still set at $4.99 because back then that's what I had it set on. Although I try not to spend over $3.99. But I think I have it set if anything drops at $4.99 or below to notify me. So it goes through all my books. And anytime any of the books on my watch list go to below that, it sends me an email. And it gives me a whole list of all of them. So like right now, looking at my list, which I need to obviously go through my watch list because there's some of these books that are just been on there forever. So there's like a book here. I feel like it's been on there. Now, so some of these books I think are ones that my son had added to the list too. So here's one called Open Road Summer by Emery Lord. The original listing price was $7.38. It's down to $1.89 right now. So it would, it sends me an email. I think it only sends you an email like as the price does it. So it doesn't continually send you emails, but so that's a way you can do it. You can also put different authors, like you can have an author watch list. So like if there's a book that you're waiting to come out, you can like start your tracking certain authors, and then as those books again start going on sale, it'll send you an email. It's a great thing. I always have a link down below in my description box under these videos, so definitely check it out. I feel like you can find some really good books. They also have freebie books on here, because when books just go free on different platforms, they have those as well. They're not always like the best books, but sometimes you'll find the freebies and the really huge price drops are when an author is coming out with like the last book of a series. So say you have a series that's like 4 or 5 books long, and usually like if they have the final book coming out of the series, they'll discount the first like however many books down to like $2.99 to try to get you so you can buy that last final book. So there's a lot of times that I will wait until a series is completely done and then read it a year or two later after it's done. And because I know I can get all the books for it, because sometimes when they come out with a brand new series, they'll discount all their previous books. So that's just something I've noticed in the past. Or when an author is just coming out with a new book, sometimes they highly discount their previous books again to get you hooked on their writing, so you'll buy their most recent books. So if there's authors that you really like, that's why I suggest like maybe do an author watch list, just because like I said, you can read all of their other books for a really discounted price. So definitely check it out. It's definitely worth it. And that is everything, you guys. Hopefully in July, I'll pick some better books to read, and I have, a lot more 4 or 5 star reads to share with you. Let me know, as always, what are you reading? We want to hear it in the comment section. Let us know any books that we should be reading, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.